Hello everyone, welcome, and I'm Keshin. Let's recap what we were talking about in the previous 4 videos. We covered jhana 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in this video, we'll be covering formless jhana. Now, formless is 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then cessation. But in this, I like to just cover 5, 6, and 7. The reason why that is so, because up to 7 is called perception attainment, meaning we can perceive things, we can know things. Our consciousness is still intact. So we can be the observer and the observed at the same time. Not the same time, but very fast simultaneously. So let's put to perspective. Up to 4th jhana, we're looking at someone who's been practiced for a long time and commitment to the path for a long time. In the beginning, it's actually an uphill battle with lots of training, lots of efforts and patience, but very little rewards. Because we are learning about our mind, we're learning about the nature of cravings, we're learning to slowly weaning ourselves and reconditioning our mind from addictive patterns, addictive thought patterns, and replacing them with more wholesome and more nourishing thoughts and behaviors and livelihood. So it's a gradual training with gradual result, and any changes in our mind or behaviors is integrated into our daily lives. It some people it might, the jhanas, it might be hard. To some it might be easy. We can practice in the lay life, in the world, with family and commitments and jobs and daily worldly dramas. But still, our commitment to the path is also daily. Daily training to be a good person in mindfulness, efforts into meditation, on retreats, learning to investigate, all of that for a long time. So by the time we're at 4th, even though we might not master 4th, but we're pretty good at dropping into jhanas at every sitting straight away. Because the territory is so well known. We're so familiar with the whole experience. So just remembering it is enough to put our mind right into it. Remember the feeling, the light, because it's there. It's always there. Our joy, our peace is always there. It's just that when jhana, we've been purified enough so that tapping into that reservoir is easy. Now, why do I cover 5, 6, and 7 in this one, because it happened, formless happened very fast. And formless is nothing like form jhana, because all the experience that in form jhana, we pretty much known, right? We've seen light, we experience love, we experience joy, we experience peace, we experience equanimity, we experience all these lovely emotion, delicious feeling. It's in our body. But with formless, there's no light. It's not like we astral travel out into space, meeting deities, this being, that being, seeing light. No, that's more like our mind body go off to play. Formless jhana is when we transcend all of that, transcend all everything that is regarding the body. And that's include the breath. So now we are into the immaterial aspect of reality, right? The immaterial. So what is fifth? Fifth jhana is when we close our mind, we sink, we relax, and then we feel our mind go out and expand. Okay, there is this, not rushing, but there is this kind of sensation of going out. Like the first jhana, there is this, remember the first jhana is when the energy moves, there is the rushing of the energy. In the same, the pattern for formless jhana is like form jhana. It's just that it is immaterial. So in the fifth, there is this sensation of going out, going big and out. And in that expanding out, in the first jhana, we have the rapture, the ecstatic. In the formless fifth, remember the fifth is like the first. So in the fifth, there is this enormous bliss. There is something that we've never experienced before. It's just so altered state. Any word I describe is mediocre, right? Because it's just so ecstatic. You just close your eyes and you just collapse, because that's how blissful it is. Now, in the fifth, there is this, the mind going out. So in the fifth, it's called infinite space dimension, right? So in the fifth, we transcend the physical body. We don't feel the physical body. We don't even feel the breath. It's not that we stop breathing. It's just that we transcend it. We don't perceive it. It's like we are not in our body, but we're not astral traveling. No, we are in the mind. The mind itself is infinite. The consciousness now, in the fifth, it's like we going out. Okay, so it's infinite space dimension. That is the name of the fifth. So what's also significant with the fifth jhana is that this is the second cessation. Remember, in second jhana, the first level of cessation is thought stop. right? It's called uh, speech fabrication ceased. In the fifth is bodily fabrication ceased, meaning the breath stopped. So that is the significance of the fifth, because we totally transcend anything that is physical. Okay? Not seeing light, also remember that. There is no more light. And the feeling that we are feeling is not in the body, it's the mind. That's why it's so extraordinary, because it's just super ordinary. It's out of the world, out of this world experience. Now, in the sixth is called infinite consciousness. So now we expanded, we expanded in the fifth, and now in the sixth we feel big. It's just there's no boundary, right? There is we just big, so big. And the bliss now is it's not as aesthetic like when we were going out, but it calmed down a bit. It's it's like the second jhana is the calming of the rapture. So in the sixth, it's also the calming of the bliss of the fifth. And in the seventh is called the nothingness dimension. It's not that we don't see anything, it's just consciousness is so big, we don't perceive anything. There's nothing to perceive. Now, we just see a blank darkness, right? If we experience this lots of times, um, we like to experiment. So we might try to open our eyes. It'll be really extremely hard. It's like moving mountain. But just a tiny peek, open the eyelid. There's nothing to perceive. There's just light, just white nothingness. And when you close your eyes, it's just dark nothingness. So that is 5, 6, and 7. Up to the stage of fourth jhana is gradual training, is gradual changing behaviors and mind, is gradually integrating into our daily life. Now, when we go into formless, it's a sudden drop. Imagine an ocean floor. It's gradual, it's gradual, it's gradual, and then there is some point, a sudden drop. So formless, when we experience formless as a permanent state, not as an experience. Some people experience formless once, twice, or it goes away. Then that doesn't count. It's only count if formless is permanent, meaning you sit, meaning when we sit and meditate, we go formless. And when we open our eyes, we are still in formless. What that means is our mind remains big, expansive, huge. And what does this mean? What does this translate into our daily life? Really hard to function. Just imagine the top half of our skull removed, and there's just sky, right? So, how do we function? Normally, we function because our focus is right here. But now the mind is out there. And so when we even try to walk is hard, right? We have to like pull the mind down to a point and walk one step at a time. And what about perceiving things? Perceiving things is not like before, right? Tree don't look like trees. It have a form of a tree, and we just in and out knows it's a tree. But everything is change. And this happen depend on the individual. Not everybody is the same. Some some people's mind change fast and then finish the changing. And then others can go on for months, years. Now, in terms of investigating and have a look at the five, six senses and all the aggregates, the usual investigation mode or techniques that we have is very easy now. It seems like there is the strength of attachment is severed more. It's from an internal sense, meaning our six base, and external sense, meaning the object, the contact, and what's go after the context, whether it's feeling, perception, or thinking, we can see that. It's easy now. But what people have to be aware is this stage of changing is, well, I have to say warning. This stage of changing is quite dangerous for people who work, who mind is involved, for example, office workers or machineries. Really, really do take care, because if it is hard for us to even walk, imagine driving and doing something that is very involved intellectually. Because remember, when our mind is big, the thinking and the thoughts pattern is not there. So even to speak is hard. We might talk to somebody and then we just blank out in mid-sentence because the mind just want to go big again. So every time we try to do something, we pull it down, but it's very hard to pull it down. It's like trying to fit an ocean in a keyhole. So this is formless 5, 6, and 7. And next video, I'll be covered 8 and cessation. Now, I left these two separate because these two goes together. They happen together. And why it is so significant is these last two, number 8 and cessation, is the cessation of the attainment, of all the attainment. In the previous, from 1 to 7 jhana, is called perception attainment. And the last two is called cessation of all attainment. So it'll be very interesting, the next section, because lots of things happen and not happen. I hope to see you next time. Thank you for tuning.